back with Rafael Najem, and where we left off was he was saying to this man with the PLO, "I'm a man of God. You better not touch me." And he said, "Get out of my sight. Get away from me." And so just continue right where you left off.
So as I left the office, they call it the office, and I went out there. I saw my cousins and my uncles. They were all walking toward, because they're coming to see what can they do to save me. And I mean, it was a lot of commotion on the streets, people running back and forth. My brothers went and got their friends, and they know some militia that they know to come. But they couldn't believe their eyes that they see me walking out of the office. Me and my mother walked out and came home. But I knew right there that it's time for me to leave the country. Mm-hmm. But I had no idea how. So we had a meeting, the family, that night, and we all decided somebody has to leave to open the way for the rest of the family. So I prayed a lot, and I read the Bible. And I was very encouraged, knowing in my heart that God's going to lead me to become a deliverer, to deliver my family out of Lebanon. What happened during those times, because of the war, Beirut got divided in half. We have what's called West Beirut and East Beirut. I lived in West Beirut, where it was dominated by Muslims and all the left militia and the PLO. And East Beirut was dominated by the Christians, so they had a green line that divided them. And that green line was where the Museum of Lebanon is. It's called, it's a very well-known area. Now, the people that were dominating West Beirut, they forbade the Christians that stayed to go to East Beirut. No more. You can't go there. But the only way to get out of the country is to go to East Beirut and to take a boat from the port. That's where the port is. My younger brother, at that time, he was working for a distribution company that distributes newspapers. All the newspapers were printed in West Beirut. So they'll have to take him to East Beirut. And it's all about business and money. Money during the war talks a lot, more than weapons. So a Muslim driver will take the newspaper to the Green Line. A Christian driver will come and meet him and take the newspapers from him. So we gave him 500 lira that time, which is about $100. Me and my brother decided to leave. So they hid us with the newspaper. In the back of the pickup truck, and we went that day. Now I had about $3,000 saved because of the falafel business. Mm-hmm. We sold a couple Oriental rugs that my father used to own. We got about $3,000 with us, and we're going on this journey. We have no idea where we're going. We get into that green line. The militia over there, they saw us. They recognized that we are in there. So they pulled their guns, and there was a lot of fighting going on. I started praying in tongues in there. And I started praying in tongues so hard. And I was so afraid. I said, this is it. That's the end of us. I don't know how till today what happened. All what I know is one of the militia with a big machine gun, he put it on the window, and he goes like this, go. And we took off and went to East Beirut. Mm-hmm. The amazing thing happened in East Beirut. When I got there, somebody told me, "Oh, your pastor, Pastor Elias Melki is here. He is here with an American man." So I went and found him, because I haven't seen him in 2 years. He was in East Beirut visiting with this American man. He was the head. The American man was the head of an organization called Food for Hungry. His name was Dr. Ward. And they were there with a big ship that they brought to the Christians in Lebanon. Aid. So they tried to convince me to stay and become open an office for this organization. I said, no, you want to help me get me out of this country? Please get me out. Yeah. So my pastor, he really don't want me to leave, because he want me to continue in charge of the work in Lebanon. The American man felt bad. He goes, Elias, let's get him out, let him go out from this country, and then maybe he will go back again. So, praise God, we made, my brother and I, my younger brother, we got our passports ready. We paid our ways. We got into this boat. It's a very small fishing boat. It's about a 4 or 5 hours trip to an island called Cyprus. That's the only way out of the country. But that day, the captain lost his way. The sea was raging. He went to Turkey. So the trip took about 15 hours. I got so seasick. I'd never been on a boat in my life. So seasick that day. I said, Lord, I wish I stayed in Beirut and got killed by a bullet instead of drawn in the sea.
Yeah.
That same American man felt so bad for me. He gave the captain $400, American dollars, and the captain gave me his room down below. Because when you go under below in a boat, you don't get sick. I don't know why, but that's what it. And I went and slept in this captain's bed. Oh, thank you, God. It was such a relief. It took us about 16 to 18 hours, and we got to Cyprus. I don't know anybody. I don't know the language. They speak Greek in there. And the American man and my pastor, they were going there, but they have a flight to America, to California. So they go to the airport. The guy, the American man, called a friend of a Greek man. And the Greek man came, and he took me and my brother, and we went in his car to this beautiful villa. It used to be a Presbyterian church, American Presbyterian church, but it's empty because in Cyprus was a war too, but ended the war. But all the Americans left. So that building was empty. It had a mattress and a refrigerator.
Oh.
And he gave me the key, and he says, that's it. And he left, and I didn't see him. We stayed there, my brother and I, for 12 days in that villa.
Uh-huh.
Praying and praying. Praying and praying. Until one day we heard a knock on the door. This Marines, American Marines, comes in. He goes, you are requested at the embassy. The American man, when he went to California, he sent a telegraph to the American embassy. He told them where we are.
In Cyprus?
In Cyprus.
Oh,
in
my
Cyprus.
goodness.
Yeah. So we went to an interview with the American consulate. And we walked in there, we sat down through an interpreter, you know. He goes,
You did not speak English at this time?
No, at this time I did not speak English yet,
Okay.
no. Very, very few little words, you know, but I spoke French, so that helped too. And he goes, you applied for a visa to America 3 years ago in Beirut. I said, yes. He goes, you were refused. I said, yes. He goes, once you refuse, we cannot give you, that's it. He goes, I said to him, sir, I think you should really look more, because back then it wasn't the will of God, but now it's God's will for me to go to America. He started to laugh. He goes, God has nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
I said, sir.
So the secular mind thinks.
I said, excuse me, it's got a lot to do in my life.
Yes.
He goes to me, while he's really laughing, he goes, young man, listen to me. If this man that sent the telegraph, he graduated with me in the same class from college. We knew each other. We were in the same school. If it wasn't for that, you will never see a visa. But I'm going to give you a 6-month visa just because of my friend. He's asking for you. He stamped my passport. I took it back. I said, you see, it's God's will for me to go.
Yeah, he probably couldn't see the connection, but you certainly experienced it.
Amen.
That was wonderful. So that got you to America.
That's how
And where did you come to in America?
Okay. Well, the story really doesn't end there, because at this time, I have no money to buy an airline ticket. But my sister, remember, that gave me the cross?
Yes.
She was living in Methuen, Massachusetts at that time.
Okay.
So I called her collect, and I said, Amal, her name. Listen, Amal, I got my visa. She goes, what? I said, yeah, me and Eli, my brother, we got visas to America. She couldn't believe it. She goes, okay. I said, I'll send you the ticket. We'll wire you a ticket, an airline ticket to the British Airways. Go to the office of the British Airways. You will find a ticket there for you. So we took a taxi from the American Embassy to the British Airways, and sure thing, we got our airline ticket. Now I have 5 Cyprus pound, which was like the English pound. It was about, back then, about 25 American dollars, the 5 pounds, and 15 cents. The taxi from the British Airways to the airport is 5 pounds.
Oh, my goodness.
So
you have 15 cents.
I had 15 cents left. I paid the £5 of taxi, went to the airport, we have our ticket, and we went to the British Airways. At that time, there was only one flight that leaves Cyprus to London per week. The guy goes, what are you doing? I say, well, it's my ticket. He goes, you have a ticket, but there's no confirmation. The plane is full. My brother started to shake and cry, literally. The man goes to me, go sit in that corner over there. We'll see what happens. I looked at him and said, brother, listen to me. Jesus is going to do a big miracle right now. He's not going to leave us. Because what are we going to do? We cannot even go back with 15 cents to the place that we were staying.
Yeah.
The flight leaves at 11 o'clock. At 11:05, we heard our names paged. We ran. I had just one briefcase like this with me, that's all, of what for what we have, and he had the same thing. And we ran to the plane. Back then, you have to run to the plane.
Across the tarmac.
And we took off to London. And we got to London. We get in there. We were so happy. When we get there, there's a 24 hours wait for the flight to Boston.
Yeah.
The guy goes from the custom. He goes, you have to have a visa to stay in a hotel or somewhere in London. I said, sir, I don't know nothing. He goes, you're right. It's the British Airways' fault. They should have told you. So I'm going to make them pay for you for the hotel. And he gave me a 24-hour visa, took me by hand, showed me with the bus to go to this 5-star hotel. We went in there for free. We had a great meal and showered. We haven't showered in 15 days.
Oh, my goodness.
We showered in a hotel. I called my sister. I said, we are arriving August 12, 1976 in Boston. I had 15 cents in my pocket. And
wow.
Just a small briefcase.
We're gonna just rejoin this story in a minute, but Rafael, this is just it really is like the book of Acts, how God has led you and brought you into this nation. And when we come back, we're going to be able to just find out about the journey to being a pastor of a wonderful church that's just been full of many miracles, many things that God has done for so many people's lives over so many years. We'll be back.